Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sydney's reading log for January of 2026. This is going to be covering what I read in December of 2025 because that's how this stuff works. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Things are going to be a little quick today. Starting with Heaven's Official Blessing, the comic, aka the manhwa, Volume 1, with his gorgeous printed spine and the gorgeous, gorgeous art within by Star Ember. Really enjoyed this. The story's interesting and the art is stellar. We're going to jump into some Viz Sig, starting with Steel the Celestial Shadows, another series that's really underrated in my opinion. This is volume 8. I enjoyed this volume. We're kind of having like a small arc inside a village where we also cover a bit of a backstory for, let's see. Yes, we cover a bit of the backstory for the masked child. I don't remember his name because I am terrible with any names. I believe that's his backstory specifically. Yes, fantastic series. We've also got We've also got Snowball Earth Volume 7. This volume we actually had finished up a big fight to have a little bit of peace, another big fight and some revelations happening, which was a little intense. So I'm not entirely sure how things are going to go from this point. We also learned more about his father and where the other people have come from. Pretty intense volume, a lot of things happening. Then we've got Mujina Into the Deep, Volume 3. Kind of iffy on this series in general. We kind of covered this sort of like influencer Mujina this volume. We had a lot of her backstory and her interpersonal relationships talked about. It was all right. I'm just not huge into Mujina so far. Then we've got Made to Skate by Suzushiro. I believe this is one volume. I don't know if it's volume 1 or not. It seems unclear. About a maid who likes to skate. It's very cute and very fun, energetic, and silly, with skating tricks and cute and maids doing cute things. Then we've got Magilumie Magical Girls Inc. Volume 10. This volume follows a big time skip where a lot of things happen at the end of the last volume that I kind of forgot about, so it took me off guard and I was confused for a bit, but interesting, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Then we've got Kingdom Volume 2. I'm enjoying the series more as it goes on. I like the character writing and I like how the plot's building up, how things keep happening and the action scenes are well done as well. I enjoy it pretty well so far, and I just read the third volume, and again, it feels like I'm enjoying it the more and more I read it. Then we've got Insomniacs After School Volume 12. This is a very art-heavy volume, a lot of panels without any dialogue, and it's expressing time passing during this festival and then during a little part where they're going on the, I think, 12 or 7 bridges. Yeah, the 7 bridges without saying anything to get their wishes to come true. It's a cute volume. Not too much happens. Oh, we do actually have some idea about what both of them are doing in the future after high school, so that's definitely something that happens. Then we've got Hirayasumi Volume 7. We finish up filming and airing the movie this volume, including some changes in this guy's life that I don't remember the name of. And we have the cousin actually having a fight with her friend, and we get to see them kind of patch it up and work on their relationship with each other. Very good slice of life. Next, we've got Full Night Volume 7. We are continuing the invasion of the headquarters by the anti-transflorationists, with some twists in this volume as well, along with backstory about Ivy, the serial killer Transflora. Very interesting. I will say the action, I like it, but I got lost in it a lot. I don't know if it was especially well choreographed, if I just don't have great memory or great imagination with picturing how things flow together. Anyways, next we've got Dogshead Volume 4 by Toru Noda. This volume, they are finally getting on the rink during their training, and we are learning how the group dynamics are going to play with each other, and also seeing somebody else who graduated previously and was part of the loss that made it so Oinokami, I think. Yeah, so that Oinokami broke its winning streak. So he has a lot of his own demons going on now, and we see him interact with some of the characters in the hockey team. Full of a lot of dumb humor, but also it has heart to it, and the story's interesting. Then we've got Cosmos Volume 3. We've got a very long, I say very long for Cosmos so far, incident that happens in this volume involving a kidnapping and involving them trying to rescue/bodyguard this woman, leading into a bigger um, in a bigger plot that's getting built up to after this with something that happens that I don't want to say. Next, we've got Steel Ball Run Volume 4. In this volume, we are finally entering the world of Mandom and meeting Hot Pants, who is probably my favorite character in this volume. A lot of weird stuff. Mandom is like this. They're just around lost in this one area for a long time, trying to figure out what in the world's going on. Yeah, I don't want to explain it too much because I'm going to spoil what the ability is. Then we've got Nana Volume 2. I love this series. I think Yazawa is a fantastic shoujo artist and fantastic shoujo mangaka. I really like Neighborhood Story. I liked Last Quarter. I'm excited to finish reading Nana and then hopefully read Paradise Kiss. And the new story Lone Angel, Wandering Lone Angel, or whatever it is, that got licensed recently. I'm excited about that. Main thing I want to say about this volume is fuck Shoji. Me and my homie hate Shoji, and yeah, that's it. He should have been punched. Anyways, into Yin Press, starting with The Villainess as a Marionette, Volume 3. Love the art in this volume, and we do have the marionette, Villainess setting up her own cabinet after she successfully got a lot of the prince's staff ousted for basically conspiring against. It's a little bit hard to explain, like some political stuff with them doing things they're not supposed to, and I think they were conspiring against the princess as well. I don't remember exactly. Is she a princess? I think she's a princess. But anyways, really enjoy this series. The story's good, and I'm not entirely sure, but a lot of people don't seem to find the story that fun. But different opinions, I guess. Then we've got Kowloon Generic Romance Volume 10, slow release, and it needs to come out faster. I don't want to explain what's happening in this volume. Just going to show a little bit of the art. Big spoilers for Kowloon, though, because it's a mystery. I don't want to spoil the mystery. Then we've got Kill the Villainess Volume 4. We've got a bit of a romance focus this volume with Lady Mazirian and Sir Anakin. Again, weird name. I don't think I've ever heard of the name Anakin outside of Star Wars, so I'm not sure where that originated, if it originated from Star Wars, or if it's actually a real name existing in the world that got used for Star Wars. But a lot of people, I feel like, would associate that with Star Wars. Yeah, I enjoy Kill the Villainess so far. The only thing I'm not huge on is the arts. It's not even bad art, it's just I've been spoiled by a lot of these Villainess Otome having gorgeous art, so it was a little bit lackluster for me, personally. Then we've got The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All, Volume 3. We have Arai, I think her name is. Sorry, Mitsuki. Mitsuki finally coming out of her shell after realizing people are interested in her music and expressing more of her own true self at the school. No longer kind of just hiding and being demure about who she is. And we have some jealousy from Aya because she's getting attention and Aya's supposed to be the one that noticed her and the one that takes up all of her time. So fun so far. Get into Kodansha with the Fragrant Flower Blooms of Dignity, Volume 10. We have Karuko officially meeting Rintaro's parents, even though Karuko has talked to his mom plenty of times at the bakery because she's the most regular customer there. We also have some resolution in the group dynamic between Karuko and her friends/acquaintances from the academy. We have some conflicts that happen from that and some inner reflections from one of the people who is having a lot of problems accepting the friendship or the relationship between Karuko and Rintaro. So that was really good. Then we've got Gazing at the Star Next Door, Volume 7. We have Chiaki getting pretty jealous this volume, and because Subaru is going on a mock date, and Chiaki's jealous, of course, because the actress Subaru is going on a mock date with is extremely beautiful, extremely talented, extremely well known. So there's jealousy stirring up between the two, and I believe there's also a secondary love interest trying to swoop in and gain some attention in this volume. So fun read. Then we've got Wisteria Wand and Sword Volume 10. We are finally, spoiler alert, in the tower, and it's essentially a giant, like a battle between two very strong people to determine who gets to have Will in their section of the tower. Or I don't know what the word I'm looking, the faction, in their faction, because Will is a very unique person, and he's caught the attention of more than just his childhood friend. I really like Wisteria, though. It is a great series. Then we've got the final volume of Last Game, Volume 11. I know it's a shoujo with a wedding picture as the cover for the final volume. It's groundbreaking. Um, Last Game is just, it's all right. I enjoy it. It did kind of go a little slow, and I wasn't like super invested in it. I like the core premise. I like the character interactions. I think overall it was pretty good. It was good enough to consider reading again, but they finally get together in this volume, and at the end, time jump for them to get married. So cute. And then we've got that started Seven Seas, whoopsies. Or to Astoria. No, that was Seven Seas. We've got Yokai Cats Volume 10, finally reaching the 10th volume in this series of Four Coma Cats. It's cute, it's cats. Don't know what else to say. Never know what else to say about that. Then we've got our typical double release for Baki. I actually finally got around to reading 3 and 4 a little bit later than I should have, because 3 took a while to come in, but I really, really enjoyed it. And we had in this volume, kind of leading to the next volume, a very major fight between two of the strongest people we know in the martial arts world, and how that leads into Baki's growth as a character. Very good. The art and action is really intense. I do have a hard time telling what's happening in the action sometimes, but it's easy to look past it because it's just a very fast-paced read. I really enjoy Baki, though. Next up for Tokyo Pop, we've got My Noons and Midnights Are For You, Volume 1 by Loria, about a manager who has to deal with a VTuber who has very low self-esteem and essentially finds out that the VTuber wants to be bullied by the manager. So it's sadist, masochist, BL, crazy smut. Very, very intense, uncensored smut. Not much story besides that. Girl, I almost started flipping through it. This thing is uncensored. I should have done that. It's smut. I don't know what it's going to go after this first volume. I enjoyed it, but not really for the story. The smut scenes were just well drawn. Polar opposite, we've got Dear Demon King by Emu Saotome. Saotome? Yeah. This is a story about a demon king and a griffin who has taken the shape of a human after being raised by the demon king, after being left behind by his own kind. And the demon king has like this realm of like jewel people. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it aside from that. And it's essentially about their budding relationship, learning about the Demon King's domain, learning about the Demon King's struggles, and how it affects Topaz, the Griffin character. Very enjoyable one-volume BL, though. Then we've got Daemons of the Shadow Realm, Volume 9. For this volume specifically, we had a bit of backstory for a couple of the... I think we did have backstories for a couple of the people, right? No, I think this is mostly just focusing on moving the main plot along, and also meeting the father of the main character, I think. No, the father of Dara, who is wrapped up in a weird bandage thing wearing a anime t-shirt. So that was fun. Just kind of progressing the plot. Not too much to say about it, though. I enjoyed it. Then we've got 100 Ghost Stories That Will Lead to My Own Death, Volume 4. Probably my favorite cover of the series so far. This is what made me want to pick up this series initially when I first saw this cover online. And, we have more short stories this volume, good short stories, along with really, really growing that ongoing plot in the actual main story when he's telling these stories. It's getting really interesting. Then we've got Oshinoko Volume 12. This is focusing a lot on setting up the movie that's going to be produced about... Don't want to spoil what the movie's about too much, because that's a little bit of a spoiler. But we have this conflict between the three main female characters who are thought of as potential leads for this movie. And we have all of them auditioning against each other and kind of having these strategies for how they want to be shown, or if they actually want the role. Very interesting. Then we've got Stop Hibari-kun, Volume 1 by Hisashi Eguchi through PL2. This is a I believe, 90s Shonen Jump series about a trans girl who is very much not accepted by her family at all. Um, and she's very flirty with the main character because the main character thinks she's very cute, struggles with her being biologically a male. I don't know how to phrase that without sounding icky. With her being born a male, born a guy, and of course, it's the 90s at Shonen Jump. It isn't treated with a lot of grace, but it has a lot of heart to it in the way that Hibari is just so persistent and such like a fun character to read about. So if you want to read this series and you uh enjoy reading about trans characters, just be wary that it's going to be very triggering because it's very of the time, let's say. Next up, we've got Sonda Volume 2. Unfortunately, this series is a little bit of a slower release. Wild shit happens this volume. Wild shit's happening every volume in Sonda so far, so it's kind of hard to explain what's going on. Yeah, I'm not gonna even try. Then we've got Wolf's Daughter, A Werewolf Tale Volume 2. I really like how it seems like every volume the main character is growing and exploring more of herself and making new decisions for herself, and also kind of getting the dynamic between her and the gray wolf and the black wolf, silver wolf, white wolf. I don't know if it's gray, silver, or black or white. Yes. We also have her making some major decisions for herself at the end of the volume, so this is a really good character growth story. Then we've got, sadly, the final volume of Royal Tailor Clothier to the Crown, Volume 5. Everything's wrapping up in this volume, along with this really weird, like, sequence. I guess I would kind of call it a dream sequence to be vague enough to not spoil it, but everything gets wrapped up in this volume, and I really liked this series, and I would definitely recommend it to any shoujo fans out there. Most people in general, honestly. Then we've got It Takes More Than Pretty Face to Fall in Love, Volume 4. We have, again, I'm getting this trend with a lot of these shoujo this month, a lot of jealousy coming from the male character this time, because she was obsessing over somebody else's pretty face. So a lot of the focus in this volume is kind of a bit of a falling out between that and then them establishing a relationship finally at the end of the volume. So very good. We've got Blood Night Market Volume 3 by Chisei Ogawa. We're finishing things up here. I enjoyed this final volume. The series, when it started, I wasn't a huge fan on. Now I kind of enjoy it. The wrap-up fight at the end was really good. I like the way everything wrapped together in the end. Then we've got Black Knight Parade Volume 8. It seems like there's not too much longer left in this series because it seems like we're just getting more and more things explained each volume. This is another one, though, I'm not even going to try and summarize because there's just so much stuff that happens. Then we've got 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, Volume 16, introducing the new girlfriend, Capoeira, who is half Brazilian and a capoeira expert, which is, I didn't realize the pun till like halfway through reading, and it's such a stupid pun, but it's, the same formula for a lot of these volumes, where it's some of the girlfriends go on this date with him, literally hijinks ensue, meeting the new girlfriend, getting them introduced to the group. It still hasn't gotten stale, so that's a very good indicator of how, personally, I think well written each of the characters are and how well they play off of each other. Then we've got 2.5 Dimensional Seduction Volume 16. We are seemingly finishing Tsubaki's character arc with learning about who she is and why she wants to continue doing this cosplay stuff. We also have the main group bouncing off of two more of the Heavenly Queens who are featured on the cover here. Then we've got Spy Family Volume 15. This volume is almost exclusively covering Martha's backstory in the war, how she ended up basically having to run and hide her way out of being killed in the war. Very interesting, and I like how it expanded the world of the war that's going on between the East and West Artoria. It doesn't say. Anyways, next we have Mission Yozakura Family Volume 20 and another series that had a time skip. This one's not, I don't think it was a super long time skip, but some things definitely changed, and we're kind of transitioning into the final arc of the series, which I believe is only like 8 or 9 volumes, so I'm excited about that. Then we've got My Hero Academia Team Up Missions Volume 7. Not really much to say about this. It's just vignettes of separate missions. I enjoy the aquarium mission. That was cute. Then we've got Marriage Talks in Volume 10, finally reaching the 10th volume of the series. And they are wrapping up the arc where they are being attacked by the Gunmasters, and toward the end, after a couple chapters of reprieve, they're getting thrown right back into another major conflict. So they can't catch a break. Then we've got Dandadan Volume 16. This volume, we are focusing more on trying to get Okarune's second family jewel back and jumping into another really weird plot that's happening with very brief, like, way to describe it, like a book/board game thing. Really weird. I don't want to spoil it, though. Then we've got Trickster's Tale Volume 1. This is weird. It's goofy. It has, like, some serious tones. It has incest. It has some smutty elements. I think the only problem I had with it was that the story was very rushed for the first volume, so I don't know if this is going to be a long series or where it's going to go from here, but I tentatively enjoy it. Then we've got A Man Who Defies the World of BL, Volume 2, continuing the trend of him observing these guys meeting up with each other, forming relationships, and just kind of watching and being like, yep, that's going to happen because this and that and this and that BL trope. It's good so far. Nothing really to shake up the status quo yet. Then we've got Rainbows After Storms, Volume 7. The secondary female love interest finally confesses her feelings and deals with them, so we're moving on past that moment. And this was after these two got a lot closer after their big fight during the school trip. I really enjoy this series. It's very cute. Then we've got Sumiki Ogami's Not So Ordinary Life, Volume 3. I love this series, especially because I like the idea of monster girls, like monster girls, monster boys, monster human characters. Since I was raised on Rosario Vampire, that's probably why. And I like how this is, like, no ecchi at all, which is fantastic for, like, shonen romance, because sometimes they can be a little, but this is covering, like, a festival arc, and also the main character kind of trying to reach out and make more friends. Very cute and very wholesome so far. Then we've got Komi Can't Communicate, Volume 36. A lot of this volume is spent on the two of them having, like, a study camp together where he's sleeping over at her grandmother's house, and the grandmother is watching over, like, hey, don't do anything crazy, which of course they don't. They're too innocent for that. But yeah, I really enjoyed Komi, and I am sad it's going to be ending in, I think, 2 more volumes. Then we've got Campfire Cooking in Another World, Volume 2. This volume, Mukoto is finally learning how broken Fell can be with actually earning money and getting monster parts, and, kind of getting a feel for taking Fell places in a way that's not going to attract so much attention to him, which is a little hard to avoid. And then at the end of the volume, we finally meet the little slime that I don't remember the name of. Next, we've got The Drops of God, Volume 1 by Tadashi Agi and Shu Okimoto, with the terrible, unremovable stream on Apple TV Plus sticker print thing. Very, very interesting series about a guy who is having to essentially, in order to get his father's fortune and inheritance, essentially, he has to discover what his father's number one, like, Drops of God wine was. And he's competing with somebody, one of his father's, I believe it's his protege, or somebody close to his father, to find out what it is so he can get his inheritance. He was very reluctant to get involved into it, but kind of got drawn into it. My only issue with this series, it has, like, some outdated viewpoints in it that kind of icked me out a little bit. I don't remember exactly what they were. I just remember not being a huge fan of that, but overall it's enjoyable, and I hope we're actually getting the full adaptation this time. I'm not gonna hold my breath, though. Then we've got Welcome to Demon School Irmakun, Volume 17. This is finally covering the post-anime after the Harvest Festival, where they are getting ready for the music festival, and we get to meet the background character from the Misfits class that we finally get to learn more about. Don't want to spoil what he does or who he is, but I like how his personality contrasts with his family and his family's values. Lastly, we've got Go Go Loser Ranger, Volumes 15. We are finishing again with a little mini time skip. It's been a year since Zero has been locked in, or O has been locked in with the super boss. Super boss? I don't remember exactly what he is. Locked in with the boss, and we are seeing how the world has changed since he has gotten out. And a lot of the volume is focused on the idea of trying to find a new Pink Ranger to replace the one that was lost in the battle, and kind of dealing with the aftermath of that massive battle. But with that in mind, that is everything that I read in December of 2025, my January 2026 video. I was hoping to play with him a little bit more, but he does not look like he's in the mood for that. Anyways, I will talk to everybody later.